It's really exciting to welcome Lauren this evening. I've known Lauren for quite a few years now. When I first started teaching hypnobirthing, Lauren was teaching hypnobirthing, and I kind of crashed her patch a bit. Sorry, Lauren. It's been a few years. I don't suppose you care.
I didn't notice then either, so I wouldn't worry about it.
It's all good. But yeah, so I have watched Lauren from afar with massive imagination. Admiration is what I meant to say. It's been a very long day. And it's just really nice that you've come this evening. So thank you. As I said in my email to you, lots of the businesses here are quite sort of fledgling and new and sort of finding their feet. So it's a really nice thing to hear from someone such as yourself, who has lots of business experience. And yeah, I'm very excited to hear you. So over to you, Lauren.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and thank you for that meditation. I think we could all just go sleep now instead and just
sorry.
Yeah, so I've known Linda for years. Like she said, I was a hypnobirth teacher, I was a birth doula, I was a placenta encapsulator, and then I started a business called The Whole 9 Months, which was going to be pregnancy and birth gift boxes, gestational. So you get the 3 different gestations. Anyway, that felt like a lifetime ago. That was about 6 years ago, and that business was running for about 10 months, and in that 10 months I lost 10 grand and folded it because I got it all wrong. I honestly now I laugh at myself now, because I'm just like, what the F were you thinking, doing this, that and the other? And now I can pick it apart. But it was hard, and I kind of, sorry, I'm getting hot already. I left that business not knowing what to do. I'm not someone who can be employed because I'm a bit of a rebel like that. I left school at 14 with no qualifications. I was out of there, so I'm quite hard to pin down. So then I just started blogging and writing, and I had a previous platform called This Girl's Enough, where it was all about empowering women and about just being your honest, brave self. And I sort of started sharing all my stories that, you know, the sort of stories that women keep inside and that hold us back from doing things like you're doing right now and being able to just stand in your power. Off the back of that, I wrote a book called Filter Free, which collaborated with a load of other women's stories, and we all kind of ditched all our shames and, you know, histories so that we could move on to the next phase. And then I built up a bit of a following with that, and I was like, right, either I start doing the hashtag ads now and cashing in that way, or I get an actual business going again. And I decided that I wanted to start a business that would be something that I could be passionate about, but something also that I knew that my audience would be into as well. So for those of you who don't know, I founded Wear 'Em Out, which is reusable period pads for modern life, because, and I found we launched last February, just before COVID hit, which I mean was just like, well, actually has turned out to be the best timing for us, because I think so many people are in lockdown, so many people scrolling online, so many people weren't spending. So we're going shopping crazy. So the online shopping world absolutely blew up last year. And thankfully for us, we were included in that. And we have just grown month on month on month, to the point where within 6 months we were stocked in Next. Within 10 months we were stocked in 10 or so physical eco stores. We're now stocked in 20 eco stores, physical and online, and it's just growing. Every week we'll get another stockist saying, can we stock your pads? We done a limited edition collaboration in our first year with a really big designer called Emily Brooks, which blew up. So yeah, I kind of like, I've just been running and just dealing with what comes daily without really knowing what the fuck is going on. Like, because it's just been so quick, the growth, and so unexpected, and I'm so grateful. But I've learned a lot, and I've cried a lot, actually. COVID was tough on everybody for every different reason, and I was not exempt from that whatsoever. Although I had this amazing business starting up, I was also homeschooling my son. You know, I've got 4 kids. They're older now. My youngest is 9, thankfully. But yeah, so I know all about the struggles of business. I know how scary it is at the beginning. I know how your confidence could be knocked every single day. I've just had a massive low in confidence. So I've got to show up on the socials all of the time. I see direct correlation. If I'm not live on Instagram or my stories on Instagram, my sales drop. It's a direct correlation for me. So I have to be present all of the time. And, you know, the last couple of weeks, I've just not been feeling it. So I've been really struggling with self-esteem and confidence just from posting on social media, because we're all human. It gets us all in different ways. And with business and with life being human, this constant roller coaster is doesn't give up, does it? It's just keeps throwing new obstacles at you. I thought what might be really interesting in our time together is for you to ask me questions that are specific around your business, so that you can get the most out of me, rather than me just sit here wanging on about my life and look what I done. I think it would be really useful, Linda, if you agree, that if anybody's got any specific questions about running a business, how to do things in a business, anything about social media, anything about self-confidence, because I'm constantly a work in action for that one, or, you know, anything like that, I would really be happy to answer any questions that you've got. Obviously, I'm a product-based business, so it might be slightly different. So I don't know what you will do. I can see a couple of coaches there. What we've got, Pure Imaginations, Gemma, I'm not sure what that is. Feel free to jump in and tell me what it is you do. And Raws and Rainbow sounds interesting. Lena, I'm not sure what that is either, but I'm interested to know more. Basking Babies, I don't know which one it is, but I used to know that. What were they called, Linda, the owners of Basking Babies?
I don't know what the owners are called, sorry. That's Jess. I don't know who the owners are though, sorry.
Basking Babies, I'm thinking of.
Carla Davison. Sorry.
That's it, Carla.
Jess is with babies.
Oh, maybe it's a different franchise I'm thinking of. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, yeah, I thought it might be interesting if we make it an open conversation. So anybody fire anything at me. Linda, have you got any questions that you want to ask? Just put it all on you.
No.
I could sit here and talk all night about my stuff, but it might not be relevant to your stuff. So it might be interesting if you've got questions that are specific to your stuff that I can help you with.
Yeah, I just from what you said already, it's so funny because we've got slightly, like what you said about losing 10 grand on your business really resonates. I lost exactly 10 grand on my business. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. But the amount of lessons I learned from that was huge, and actually probably worth 10 grand worth of coaching. So in some ways, like I really doesn't worry me, because it was such a wonderful learning curve, in a very expensive one, but in a good one. And what you said in your own words, something similar to that, like you made so many mistakes, but my God, like you laugh at yourself kind of now. Do you mind sharing like some of your the lessons that you learned from that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm a really excitable, if I get an idea, I just full steam ahead, and I'm just like, this is going to work. I'm an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, we get this idea, we've got faith in ourselves, and we just go for it and throw everything at it. My things were really simple things, like I hadn't factored in one of the boxes was you and the dream sheep. So if anyone knows that guy comes in a huge tub. I had not factored that into postage. You know, for me to post the box out that you went in, it would have cost more in postage than what was worth in the bloody box. Just the most minute of little details. And now, as another product-based business, for me, I know that I've got to keep it a really small product. I know that postage has to be factored into the cost of that order being sent out. Like you say, I think the coaching, I think I learned to slow down. I think I learned that I'm not always right, which was at 37 years old, a complete shocker, let me tell you. I think I learned to trust my instincts more, rather than just go on the practical, just to sit with it for a while and just think, actually, is this the right idea for me and my business? This time around, I'm having to make the same decisions, but I'm much more cutthroat about it. Rather than getting drawn in emotionally to come up with an emotional answer, I'm able to take a step back now and think, okay, but from a logistical business point of view, does this make sense? And if it doesn't, then it's not happening. Then it just can't happen, whether I want it to emotionally or not. For an example, I shared on my stories yesterday that I get asked a lot of influencers ask me to pay them to do hashtag ads with the product. I get a lot of bloggers asking for product for free so that they can review it. I get a lot of emails every day for people asking for free pads. And it would be very easy for me to get excited. One of them was a really big influencer, someone that I would admire, someone that I would be perfectly happy to sell my pads on, to pay her to do an ad, no problem. But actually, I met her at an event about a year and a half ago, and she was really rude to me. And then when we launched and it took off, she sent me, she didn't even know, I don't think she had even connected me with the brand at that point. She just sent a message with her media kit, which is like all their stats and all their stuff and their price list and everything. Now, the emotional me would have got excited and been like, oh my God, flattered that she's come to me. Oh my God, this is such a big opportunity. She's such a massive influencer. But my business brain, from the learnings of before, of being taking it slow and thinking about it properly from a business sense, does it make sense, one, to me, for me to work with someone who is completely inauthentic, who probably doesn't even wear the product, and two, would I want to work with her? No, no. From a business perspective, it was a lot of money. No, I just don't think it would have worked in the way that I wanted it to work. So those lessons, I suppose I would say, I was very wet behind the ears at the first one. I was like a little kid in, you know, with all these ideas buzzing around. Whereas this time I want longevity. I want, you know, that burnt out in 10 months. You know, ironically, the bloody thing was called the whole 9 months, and it really was. This time I want longevity. You know, I want this to be into my retirement, this to be my retirement home and all of that. So I have to be much more pragmatic and piss some people off along the way, I think, you know, which isn't easy, but
that's wonderful. Funnily enough, Jenny will know this, Jenny, biz strategy coaching Jenny, that my new mantra when I like burn myself really is slow down, calm down. Now, always slow down, calm down, Linda. Take a moment, step back. Do you actually want to do this? And my God, it's helped so much, because I am, like you said, I'm a bit of a Labrador. I get really excited by things and I just want to launch myself at it. And I'm like, no, take a moment.
Shiny, so, yeah. Shiny. It's all new, and you know, and I think there is that element of I've got something new to bring. Look at what I've done, you know. But so, especially with the pads, because you know I'm in this business with my husband, and he's like, right, we're going to do something, bring out a new product. And I'd be like, yes. And now I'm like, well, actually, hold on. Let's look at the cash flow. Let's look at what product we want to target next. Let's look and draw a proper big mind map rather than, let's throw something else out there and hope that it takes off. You know, it has to be. And I never thought I would be that person, if I'm honest, because I always thought, you know, this is what's so shocking. I'm 47 now and I'm still surprised that I can change and evolve still at this age and still learn parts of myself that I didn't know were there. You know, I mean, last year, my biggest thing was patience and trust. I had neither of those things. No trust in anyone on the world and no patience for anyone on the world. And then COVID hit and we launched the business in the first year. And I learned patience and trust in 2020. That was two things that I'd gone 47 years without having, to now being my staple go-to in business and in life, that we have to trust that it's going to be okay, even when it's really, really scary, even when it feels like there's nothing you're going to be able to do to pull this back. You've got to zoom out and you've got to just have patience and just trust, because even if it does go tits up again like the last one, like you say, we had so many learnings. It was part of my life experiences, another chapter for my book, you know, my metaphorical book, because I'm not doing another one, God no. But, you know, we have to just think, okay, well, this is what's happening now. I'll ride it out and I'll see where we are next week or whatever. But it's not to say that I don't shit myself every day in business, though. You know, every day is fearful. I'm only human, and there'll be one thing in every day where I'm like, I don't know what to do, or I don't want to do it anymore. I've had quite a few of those experiences where I'm like, just sell what we've got and I'm done. Don't make any more pads. I'm done. But yeah, it's. And
you wait until the flower ones are done before you do that, Lauren.
Emma, what is pure imagination? I can see you. I know who you are.
I was wondering if you'd figured it out if it was me.
It's really small. all, but as soon as I heard your voice, so Gemma is a story.
Oh no, I keep freezing.
You're not here. You're not freezing here. Yeah, the flowers.
Oh good. Oh good. Okay.
We've got a new collaboration coming out with Liz Harry, which is the flowery one that Gemma's talking about. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you're not allowed to quit before then.
I'm too far deep in love. We've just ordered a shit ton of stock, so no, I can't give up anytime soon. Does anybody wear reusables? Does anybody want to know anything about reusables? Because it's a bit out there. I mean, a lot of people are. I know you do, Gemma. You bloody love them.
I love them.
Louise, well, Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victoria, you're on my Instagram, aren't you, as well?
I am, yes. A stalker.
Been there from the beginning, Lauren. I was on your pre-orders. I
You're on
couldn't
my
wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm preaching to the faith then, aren't I, here? Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, so I think in business, you have to, whilst it's got to be your passion behind it, driving it, and you've got to have that passion for why you're doing it, you also need to be separate yourself as a human from your business model. I think is really important, and something that I didn't do last time round. I was so fully immersed in it that I didn't factor in the whole business model as its own entity, and I think that really makes sense to me now, to be able to just be like, we're separate things, if that makes sense.
It does. Would anyone else like to start asking questions? I didn't mean to hog it first of all. So people are writing stuff to you on the chat as well, Lauren.
Oh,
I've got a question. I've been hiding.
why?
Because I've been sitting here, I get a bit emotional.
Oh, thanks. Listen, I cry all the time. I won't worry about that.
How do you get out of a funk? Like, I seem to go through one every time I watch everybody else be really successful. And I struggle.
What do you class as successful?
Well, so basically, I made £1.5 grand worth of stock for a market, not expecting to sell it all by any means. I make bath bombs and stuff like that. And made hardly anything. So now I'm sat here with all this stock. I've done a special offer. I really struggle with social media in the fact that I don't want to, I just don't know what, like I know what to do on social media, but I don't know what to do. That's such a contradiction. And so I just get myself in these like funks where I'm like, I just don't know what to do anymore. Like it's still really new. It's only 7 months old. But I could just easily just say, I can't do it because I keep just crying over it. And what's the point?
But what's making you cry though? Like competition from other people, like you say, you see other people succeeding. Let me tell you, my darling, honest to God, our sales for May have fallen off a cliff because everybody's back out in the sun. You know, the businesses it's not sustainable that everybody's all of the time. And if you're 7 months in, you hand make them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking hell, that's work in itself, right?
So, and that's the thing, like, I still haven't taken any money. Like I've got a bit of money in the bank now, but I don't want to take it out because if I need to buy more stuff. And I had someone ask me to do a custom order from having had some party bag stuff from someone else, and I ended up just saying no because I need to buy £100 worth of raw materials to make a £40 order. And yes, that £100 worth of stuff makes £1,000 worth of stuff. But because I'm not selling anything, I feel like now I'm putting a stop on myself because I don't want to buy more raw stuff to make stuff. I don't know.
Okay, breathe, babes. When I started Wear 'Em Out, I'm going to share this with you and I'm going to watch your shop. We invested £32,000 of our own money. Yeah. I had nothing to sell. I set up my socials in July 2019 with nothing to sell until from July 19 till January 20, I'd grown a mailing list of 9,000 people, selling nothing because I have no products yet. And I was selling something that I hadn't even tried myself. We had testers that tested the pads. I'd never worn them myself, but I had to sell. That was scary as fucking hell. Really scary. And we've come up it again and again, because obviously we have to buy our stock up front. So we've just put in a £12,000 stock order of stock that I haven't sold yet, because I have to have the faith that for my business to grow, I've got to have the faith and trust in it and invest in it, even when I've got no money. You know, it gets really scary. But the point is, we put, so with the launch was really successful, thankfully. But I'd worked for like 8 months, 9 months selling before we launched. So I hadn't made a penny. I was on my social media all day, every day, getting people signed up to my email list, saying 10% off your first order, pre-order links, just throwing anything out there to create my audience. And then when I had the stock, it just flew out the door because I'd already done all the work before. You know, you say, I can understand what you're saying about you hate media, social media, or you don't know what to do, but you know, so you know you need to be on there, you know you need to be visual, you know you need to, but you don't know what content to put on there maybe, and it's really tiring, keep coming up with content. You need 9 good posts that you can just reshare with different photos, because those 9 posts are all that's on that grid, and the people that see it won't remember it because they've already moved on. And tell me, you've probably scrolled most of the day and you won't remember one post you've read. Because we don't take it into that level. We don't look at people and like absorb them and take them into that level. We've just scrolled on to the next person. So I would say to you, this £100 custom order, look at the bigger picture about it not just being the £100 or the customer order. It's about brand awareness, about getting your product into hands who then could go and people and grow your brand. You have to take the hit sometimes. You know, sometimes I send out freebies to stuff that's cost me a bloody fortune and they haven't even said thank you for it.
And it's like, how do you get, like, and it's also that thing of how do you get followers? So me and Lena did a giveaway over the last weekend and we got 18 people entered. I've already lost some of those followers, and the most frustrating thing for me, and I don't know, I think Lena agrees, is that it was a non-organic person who's won it, who's just gone on and searched like the competition hashtag. It's not even, and so I can guarantee as soon as she gets that, she's gone.
I would also say about the numbers then, okay, don't focus on building your numbers, focus on building your content. Put your energy there. The numbers will come when the content is there and it's strong enough. Don't focus on your numbers. I've got nearly 25,000 followers. I get about 2,000 views on my stories every day out of 25,000. And on my grid posts, I may get like between, I don't know, 30 and 500 likes. That's it. The point is, don't just do what you need to do. Don't be focusing on numbers. Don't be focusing on metrics and algorithms and all of this crap. Just be seen, because your people will see you then. The most important thing as well is getting an email list. You know, really talk to yours. Our emails go out fortnightly, and there's always a call to action at the end to get them to buy, and they always convert as sales, always. I think the point of social media is just unashamedly be you, because you will be the only you on the whole of Instagram, and that's what will make you stand out, because they'll be like, oh my God, there's only one of you, you know?
Can I just say one thing while I think of it? It's to do with you, Becky. I think from my point of view, and we can always talk about this a lot more out of this conversation, you need to let your audience know that you are a specialist in like child education, because that changes everything, because you are creating these products. I think a lot of them are aimed at children with like sensory stuff in mind. And if parents think, oh, these are affordable, that your products are totally affordable, they're really fun, they get the kids in the bath, they start off a bedtime routine in such a nice way, they smell lovely. Poppy started dyeing her hair with your product. She's got hair. She puts streaks in her hair with it, so that's like amazing, and obviously it washes out. And there's so many, like, your product is so fun, and I think you could do so much to sort of celebrate A, it's sensory, B, it's fun, C, it gets your kids to bed, which is a win for all parents. If I can't get my children to go to bed, I'm like, let's have a bath bomb. So they're brilliant, like party bag fillers. They're, you know, there's so many things I think we maybe as a group need to write a massive list of possible social media posts from all different angles. And I don't mind taking photos. Obviously, I don't want naked children in them, but like, you know, and also my kids constantly make potions. They will mix the different things together and be witches and be wizards and be Poppy pretends she's Harry Potter all the time in the bath. She will even draw glasses on her face by dipping her finger in the colour and drawing and looking at herself in the plug. So I think, like, don't be despairing. Ask everyone else in this group to give you ideas, because from the outside it's so much easier than when you're in the middle of it.
I was also going to say, Becky, if you want to do a collaboration, like obviously you come to my session, so obviously my mailing list is a lot smaller than Lauren's, but
bigger than mine.
Your focus group a little bit smaller, but I think even on my mailing list I've got about 600 or 700, and then obviously things, so we can do things like that. More than happy. More than happy. And I can give you a hug next time I see you.
Don't be.
I'll probably just cry.
Don't be focused.
That's fine. I'll just join you.
You're putting so much energy into looking outside. You know, really nail that energy down to creating the content and go through that fear. You know, that 100 quid. Just smash it. Just beg, borrow, steal. Just smash it, because in business, every time you level up, this fear will come in. Every time, you know. And
I feel like I just start to, sorry, I'm just plugging my charger in. I feel like I just start to get somewhere, and I just start to get my mojo back, and then I don't know.
I feel like that. Honestly,
life happens,
and it's just part of business, and you're never going to get rid of that. So it's about making peace with that and using that energy constructively, because that fear, that self-doubt, that none of it ever just goes. It's part of the parcel of running your own business. So many times I'm like, I'm going to go back to sitting on the checkout at Tesco. Way much easier, you know, so much easier. I say that weekly. So get used to those feelings and find a way to channel them to grow your business, rather than sitting in them and feeling that they're going to break your business, you know, because
we just keep saying, like, at home, like, so I've got a little one he'll be 2 in August, and before I know it he'll be at school, and like my husband keeps saying to me, just plod along until he goes to school, and then you can do more, or you can not do more, or like you can do what you want. Like, this isn't like, I don't know, it was just I needed to do something for me, but at the moment it doesn't. And I've said this before, I don't know, I'm not good at doing stuff to make me happy. Like, I'm perfectly, like, I'll do stuff for other people all the time, and I burn myself out doing stuff for other people, and then it comes to my own stuff and I'm like.
Do you follow Anna Mather? Right, follow Anna Mather. For any of you with small children who are feeling like this, follow Anna Mather. She is your person, honestly. Mathur, I think it is, Mather. She will knock that out. She will 100% knock that out, because that, again, my children are grown now, but I relate to those feelings of being lost, you're just everybody's dog's body, you're just there to survive for your family. Those feelings of I want something for myself all make perfect sense. Don't disregard them, because that's part of mothering. Just find some peace with that. Like I say, go and look at Anna's account. She's doing this great thing now this week, #1small_thing. She's asking mothers to do one small thing for themselves this week and to share it, and then one thing becomes 2 things, and then it grows, because, you know, it's so important that we center ourselves in the middle of the family, because we are the family at the end of the day. That's it, we are it. So
thank you, Lauren, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Let's have some more questions. Who has anyone else got some? You must have. Oh.
Okay, I'll go.
hi, Lena.
Oh, it's Lena and Gemma simultaneously.
You go, my love.
Lena goes first, then Gemma.
Okay. So I run a handmade clothing company, which I started in November. Well, where do I start? I really struggle with the work-life balance, I suppose, because I decided to start the business because I work 3 days a week as a solicitor, and then I didn't want to increase my hours as a solicitor, so I thought, I'll start a business. But actually it's really taking over, and I'm really struggling with the kind of work-life balance, I suppose, because, like, for example, this morning my little one gets up really early, so I got up with him, and then at 7 o'clock this morning I was doing Raws and Rainbow stuff. I was making things and responding to messages, and then did the school run, and then I did my day job, and then that finished and I started doing Raws and Rainbow stuff again, and then I've had my dinner, and then I've come to do this, and it's all a bit crazy. And against that, I really struggle with the social media side of it, because I'm quite a private person, so I really struggle with sharing things. I try to do it, but I haven't got much confidence in doing, like, talking videos and things like that. But also, because I'm spending so much time making stuff, I don't have a lot of time to build the content as well. So yeah, it's just, and also my sister is here as well, because she helps me run the social media. but
Lena has a really bad problem with confidence. She's not confident in her, it's not in her ability, but it's just, she'll make things, they're absolutely amazing, and then she'll pick kind of faults in them as she's about to send them out. Like when we were preparing for the market, she'd made all these beautiful things, and we were stood there waiting for people to come in, and she's like, oh, no one's going to buy anything. And I'm like, no, you've got to be really confident. I'm really confident in you. Everyone's really confident. Like, the people from the village came, and it was, you know, it was so lovely to meet you guys, but she just doesn't have any confidence in herself.
I think one of the biggest investments you can make in your business is coaching. And I've got a coach. If you want to have head fun, I pay £3,000 a month for my coach. You have to invest in your business. If you want a proper business that's got longevity, you have to throw everything at it. And when I have those low confidence days, I say to myself, this isn't about you, Lauren. This is about your business. If you have a passion for what you're doing, that overrides what I care about people are going to say about me. I need my pads out in the world. I've got work to do, you know, it's that. I'm quite fortunate in that I don't give zero usually anyway about anything. I never really have. That's just who I am. So I see that I'm fortunate in that way. But I do pay £3,000 a month for a business coach, because I need somebody who's going to keep pushing me and putting me in the uncomfortable spaces, because that's where stuff grows. I could sit there all day long and say, oh God, I'm surrounded by pads, but nothing's selling. Then get up and sell it. You know, nothing's going to happen without us doing it. And we have to break through every single block, the fear, the confidence, the self-esteem, the need for outside validation on the socials. We have to smash through them all, because until you do, your businesses won't take off. And that's the brutal, honest truth, because you need to be visible in front of people. If you've built this beautiful shop, but you're not out there calling people in, no one will know. And it's not about you or your product. It's just that nobody knows. You know, I had a call today with our marketing agency, and they're even like, right, we need more people. We need new people. So we had an amazing first year in business, like off the scale, amazing first year in business. And do you know what? I get to say, I need to go and find more people, because it's not going to stop, is it? I can't just sit there on my laurels and go, I'm done now. Now I have to find the next lot of people. But I do that with a coach kicking me up the arse all the time. And she deals with my frustrations with my low confidence days. She deals with all those. Coaching shouldn't be underestimated in business. It should be something that you budget for, because it is an investment in your business, as well as me personally, to be honest. You know, my coach, I'm like, you could be my menopause coach, please, because there is stuff going on that I'm not in control of right now. And she's like, I'll be whatever you need me to be. I'm your coach. But I would say, if coaching is not on the table for you, you know, back in the day when I was starting out for the whole 9 months, I was surrounded by coaching friends, and I was always like, oh, I couldn't spend that. That made me feel sick to spend that on coaching, because you've got no direct return on investment. You can't say, well, that got me 15 sales a month. It's not about that. It's about giving me the energy and the time to be able for me to show up to make those sales. So back then, when I was like, I just couldn't find that money, I don't want to invest there. I was scrimp and scrape now for my coach, because I know that that's what's keeping me going in my business. And so I would definitely say coaching. If coaching isn't on the table for you, I would definitely start picking up books. Now for you, Lena, who's got time problems, get it on Audible. You know,
Okay.
do it while you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're driving, you're on the bus, listen to your audiobooks. You Are a Badass is a great starting point by Jen Sincero. Perfect starting point for this kind of thing. You will read that book or listen to that book, and by the end of it, you will feel like next level in self-confidence, for sure. But it's about, if you've noticed where your struggles are, the next question is, how do I work on that? Do I need outside help to work on that? Or do I need to read more books, read more podcasts? We've got so much free stuff available to us now for all of this kind of stuff. It's about utilising it, for sure. So yeah, I hope that makes you feel better, the fact that I'm spending £3,000 a month to stay on my socials.
I just don't know how we'll find the time to.
To be honest, with the balancing, I'll be 100% honest. I don't know, Lena. I've never been in that position, and so I don't really have much advice on how you're going to make that balance. I guess it would be about one day deciding which job you want to do more and following your passion, because if soliciting is that prostitution, that's being a solicitor it's not lighting you up. If it's not lighting you up, then think about maybe making the shift and you know, stepping into who you really are with your raws and rainbows.
Yeah, thank you.
I should know to come off mute, shouldn't I? Gemma.
Hey babes.
Quite good. I'm not very good at waiting, you know this. I'm not particularly patient.
Right, well,
so yeah, obviously for anybody outside, Lauren and I know each other separately anyway. So very quick summary. Pure Imaginations for Gemma is an imaginative play and learning centre for under fives. So I've kind of used my entire career, smushed it into a centre, basically.
And it's amazing.
Thank you. And weirdly, like Lauren knows about where Becky might be a little bit shocked by this, but I have serious self-esteem issues that I've had to battle with quite a lot. But I've been very, very lucky that I've done a very similar thing. I've obviously done a lot of build up. I've done a lot of work for working on my social media and content, and invested in things like that. So Pure Imaginations has done very, very well. It's done its first term. It's doubled my expectation of where I wanted it to be. Great. But you have that bit of going it's all going to fail. It's all going to go wrong. When is it going to go wrong? Because it always goes wrong. And it's that bit that I'm probably the most struggling with, because, sorry, loud person outside house. But I've got my renewals coming up and I'm like, nobody's going to resign. That's the bit I really struggle with. And I think to a certain degree, Lauren, you might have already answered this with Lena with the coaching, and it's something I could look into. I already have a social media kind of guru who's really helped me. Yeah, that's the bit that, and I'm sure, Lauren, you're going to go, Joe, I haven't got a clue. But yeah, that's the bit that I really, really struggle with, is the constant fear that everything's going to go wrong. That kind of thing.
I get it. I get it. I said to my husband today, oh, should we just not place that next order for the factory and just call it a day? Because I get it now too, you know. I get it. I feel like that daily. What I would say is, when I do feel like that and in those times, I really invest in looking at trust and what that means. I do a lot of law of the attraction and a lot of universal stuff and that now. Now, some people think it's out there, it's cuckoo. I don't really care. Find your thing that you believe in and invest in it heavily. Also, I have to sort of step back and take a breath and say, okay, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? If this all finished tomorrow, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You've got to keep perspective. If my business falls flat on its ass tomorrow, okay, it'll be shit. I've worked hard for it, but I'll get up and I'll get on with something else. It's not my daily breath. Do you know what I mean? So Zoom out always. I know we're on Zoom, very ironic, but always when your business, you're so engrossed in it that you forget to step out of it and look at it. This is separate entity. Like I said before, it's not you. It's not part of you. It's not going to break you. It's a thing. And if it all disappears tomorrow, you will still be okay. So I think start reading up about trust and leaning into trust, which is really, really hard to do. And last year I relied so heavily on reminding myself to just trust, and that kind of, it just takes so much pressure off. And what I love about the universe, what that I do is like, it's not up to me. It takes the responsibility away from me. It's like the universe has got a plan. Either it's going to decide that I'm going to succeed or I'm not, but it's not on me, you know, and kind of like that. I just trust that universe is going to do what I need it to do. It's wacky, but you know, this is what I'm doing.
No, I love it.
So start looking at some work around manifesting and trust, and, you know, and also that what's the worst that's going to happen. But I think it won't happen.
Yeah, because I just got through, I did, if you don't have a therapist, by the way, guys, get one. I love mine. I love a therapist. Yes. I pay a lot of money for her and she's worth every penny.
All right.
But the best, I've just got over the whole of trusting my own opinion. Like Chris would constantly have a go at me of going, but you know the answer. Why are you asking a million people's opinion when you actually already know the answer? I've only just started to get around that of going, actually, my opinion's worth more than everybody else's. Like, it should be my opinion first.
I tell you,
and then other people's.
Emma, you need to read, if you haven't already, Glennon Doyle, Untamed, 100% your book.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Get it, because that is all about going inward and trusting that you know what's right and wrong, and taking that time to just go. She calls it the knowing. She started off like, oh, bloody meditation, blah, blah, blah. But if you then she starts talking about, she forced herself to sit in a cupboard in silence and was really resentful of that first 10 minutes. But she was tapping into the knowing. And from that, when you get used to it and start trusting in your instincts, you make really sound decisions based on what's best for you, because it's coming from you. So get that book on Audible or whatever.
I did really well with Brene Brown, so I'll take that one out.
She's amazing as well. That's another one that Becky and Lena might want to watch, the Brene Brown on YouTube. What's it, the vulnerability one?
Oh my God, it changed my life, girls. Watch it. It literally changed my life.
My list is getting longer and longer.
Sorry, Becky. This is the work we have to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just standing there packing orders. You have to do so much head work when you're running a business to keep on top of it. Otherwise, the overwhelm that you're feeling really does take hold. You have to continually, every single day, invest in your mental state and driving your evolving yourself mentally, not just in a business level, but emotionally as well. And Brene Brown
there is a YouTube video. That's how I found it first. I watched like a ton of YouTube videos of her, and then I bought the books.
She's
they're about 20 minutes long.
I can do 20 minutes.
Tissues though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, definitely get tissues.
Put it there when you're cooking. You know, we can incorporate this stuff into our everyday activities. We don't need to sit aside for an hour, because who's got the time to do that, or who wants to do that? You know, just sit and do that when you've got 10 million other things you need to do. If I go for a walk, I've always got my headphones in, an audiobook on, or podcasts. It's about learning on the go, but really appreciating how much mind work you have to do alongside the physicalities of running a business. You can't just make a product and it will sell. You have to sell it from, you know, yourself, which is the hard work. That's the hard work. But yeah, Gemma, get Untamed. It's a bloody awesome book. I think someone put in the chat there as well that they loved that book. Untamed is life-changing. Yeah, three people.
Thanks, my love.
You're welcome. But no, please know that I'm feeling it too. I feel it too.
There's
what you're feeling. It's perfectly natural.
Gemma, I don't think you should have, and I know it's easy for me to say because I'm like the world's worst worrier, but I don't think you need to have any worries about renewals. I think like people are going to be clawing for more spaces.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think my bringing out some light up wings helped.
Nice.
They made me happy.
Have done that on purpose. Oh, don't! You will make me cry. Don't. Oh,
You do what
emotional
I love
in
doing.
my
so
own.
I love what you're doing because that's what I love doing. So
Yeah, it was I've literally just kind of put my heart on a platter and gone, hey guys, do you like it? But yeah, it was
Kind of a good entrepreneur.
It's literally, yeah, I just kind of took everything. I don't know if this is obviously not about me, so I can totally shut up and you can ask Lauren questions, by the way. Yeah, I was just really wanted to listen to mums and go, what do mums want? And from what the groups that I used to work in before, I just think there wasn't a lot of bits where you could actually just play and enjoy time with your child. You always had to be quiet and make sure you were listening to the person up front, doing their activities. If you were late, you felt really awkward because everyone starts looking at you. And I thought, you know, this is not mummy friendly at all. So why don't I switch this? And also, why is everything based around age rather than the ability of your child? Why don't you say, look, this is where my child's at, rather than constantly comparing where your child should be or not be, and just switch it. And it's so weird thinking, like, why is this revolutionary? It shouldn't be. It should be easy just to go, do you know, if my child's 15 months and not walking, who cares? They can do all this other stuff. There's so much more to a child, that whether it can talk, can walk, so much more. And yeah, that's kind of what it was based around, really.
Oh, sounds brilliant and needed.
Yeah, hopefully. But thank you, Becky. That's genuinely made my day. And please don't cry, because you will make me cry. I'm very sensitive.
Okay to cry.
I'll just sit in a corner and cry on Tuesday.
Anybody else?
That's okay. I will bring you all the hugs in the world now that I can.
Oh yeah, a big hug fest. Long time coming, right?
Does anyone else have any questions for Lauren? Sorry, I'll say it again. Does anyone else have any questions for Lauren?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not really a question. I think what I was going to ask earlier, you kind of answered, but it's the whole social media thing, as others have said, really. I think, so I'm a professional organizer and coach. So for me, it's about looking at people's time and space, but then as a whole, rather than just, here's a nifty storage gadget, buy this and your life will be okay. But yeah, the same as others have said, really. And I think you've answered it. It's just that I was never on social media before I decided that I was going to go into business. And a bit like Lena had said, quite private, don't really want to like put too much out there. But it's been really like listening to you and just that, like separating yourself from the business, because I think there was this huge part of like, I've never been self-employed, and putting yourself out there and doing something where you want to help people, but it's almost taking it personally when people don't come, and it's like, so I'm doing it all wrong then, you know. And it's actually like hearing your figures and everything, it's like, well, actually I don't pay any attention to all my numbers and everything that social media people, I'm putting stuff out there that I believe in and that I feel is what I want to say to people, and it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. But it's that kind of that balance, I guess, of being true to yourself, not worrying about the numbers, but then equally wanting the business to sort of grow, and just having that trust, I think, of that build it and they will come sort of thing.
I think when I started the whole night, that's gone. When I started Wear 'Em Out, I wasn't actually going to be the face of it, because I'd created this pad that I thought was better than me. And I thought that I would bring the business down. You know, I thought that an aging lady, you know, who swears probably too much, who doesn't look like social media, you know, I was like, oh my God, my brand's too perfect. I don't want to sully those waters almost, you know. And that's when I came up with the mantra in my head that this isn't about you. This is not about what people think about me. I want to make money. And do you know what? That's something else that we really need to zone in on, women. We struggle with the fact that we want to make our own money. We want to make a lot of money. And there is no shame in that. I have given 4 children to this world. I have paid my dues. You know, I have done my shit. And now I want to be free to make my money. And I want to make as much money as I can. I want to be drowning in money. I want to be That does not mean that I'm greedy or I'm selfish or that I'm in the 1% that just shits on everybody else, because the more money I make, the more good I can do in the world. That's a whole nother conversation about the money, but we work with a charity. The more pads I sell, the more money they get, you know, so it's going around in circles. But I learned very quickly that when I looked at other product-based businesses on social media with the most beautiful brands, they were boring to me because there wasn't the personal element. So I don't have my own personal social media as well, because I hate it. I hate it. I go into this role when I go onto my socials, and I just become the person that I need to be for my business. I don't have my own ones. I don't sit there scrolling what's she doing this week. I'm not interested. I'm there for in a business capacity. So yeah, I think it's so hard with social media because everybody has a stumbling block there, because we see so much and it's so easy to fall into comparison and stuff like that. I would suggest looking at, and you can put it into Google, you don't have to go on social media for this, but looking at where you can get free trainings for your Instagrams, your Facebooks and all of that, and start just, I know it's easier said than done, but just bloody doing the work. If you want your business to work as much as you're saying you want it to work, you would just swim to bloody France for it. You know, I'm in that position where if you don't like me or the way that I look or what I'm saying, you're not my customer. Another really easy way for all of you to consider it is if you sit and get really, really granular with who is your customer. I know what my customer looks like. She's called Emma. I know where she works. I know how she gets to work. I'm talking directly to her. When we came up with the branding, I was like, I want a brand that you will see in Stylist magazine. So it's about being really considered with what you're doing. Make sure your branding is on point, that you feel confident with your brand, so that when you're sharing it, you have that bit of confidence with it. Like, look how amazing my brand looks. Don't scrimp on brands, people, either. Do not scrimp on branding, because we see through that. You know, your customers will see through that. Really invest in good branding where you can, or take the best free routes that you can. And this is about YouTube is your best friend. Put anything into YouTube. Quickest way to get 10,000 followers, quickest way to make a reel. YouTube has got all the answers for you for free. It's about just going and finding what you need to do to change that thing that's holding you back. And that's 3 people here who have said confidence. So I would suggest stop thinking about sales, start thinking about confidence. Put your energy there for a while. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lauren, I don't think you should ever change who you are. Like, I came to a talk that you did at A Canteen.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
3 years ago.
Maybe, yeah.
Even before that. So Dexter will be 2 in August, and it was when I was trying to get pregnant and I was struggling to get pregnant and I was feeling really crappy and all of that. So it must be before that. And I remember you for being gobby and sweary. But that's who you are. And that's like, when I've seen your brand, I remember you for that, and then not in a negative way, but I just remember you for that.
Yeah.
And so it's you.
That's the thing. I tell you what, one piece of valuable advice I heard, I listened to a podcast. Basically, my whole life is just trying to grow myself personally to invest then in my business. There's a guy called Gary V. He swears every other word. He's American, so it's Gary Vaynerchuk, but he calls himself Gary V. He built brands from nothing, grew, multi-billionaire now, talks a lot, got a podcast, talks really, really fast, swears a lot. He's a little bit irritating, if I'm honest. But he had one point, right? He was talking about where should people invest their money right now in their big businesses. And he was saying, you should be investing it. This isn't relevant to this conversation, but I'll get there. In Google ads, not Facebook ads, right? Because, and you need to be the face of your business, because in a few years' time, people aren't going to be using Google. They are going to be using their smart speakers, right? So they're either going to say, so, you know, like on Google, you've got the rankings and all the, whoever pays the most ads will come at the top and all this, you're fighting that algorithm all the time. You're still going to get seen even if you're on the second page. With smart speakers, people are going to say, Alexa, can you get me a reusable period pad brand? Because all they've seen is the brand, right? They just want a brand. They'll pay, Alexa will give you one choice and it'll be the person that's paid the most. What I want them to be saying to that smart speaker is, Alexa, can you get me Lauren's details? I need some pads.
Vicky, what did your speaker respond? Because you're laughing. Your speaker answered, didn't it?
Oh, did it? 3 times. She's going, I don't know that one.
Mine didn't hear you. I was waiting for that.
Conversation. This is the thing, you know, we start these businesses with all good intentions and we're all excited to do it and everything, but you've got to keep moving. And he's right. In a couple of years, we're going to be relying on smart speakers saying, get me the reusable period pad brand. No, I want them to be saying, get me Lauren off Instagram, who I used to see, because I want to buy some pads. We have to get through that and be visible. That's the way shopping works now, you know, and it's hard, but your business needs it of you. It's one of your jobs in your business to work on your self-confidence and to bloody get yourself out there, babes.
2 things from what you've just said. Number one, those of you that came to Holly's talk in here, so we had Holly DeCruz a few months ago, and she talked about when she's on social media, she steps into her office, and so she's only showing you parts of her life that she wants to show you. So it's all, I mean, the word contrived is the wrong word, but it's, you know, she's not showing you everything by any stretch of the imagination. So I think people who are private, don't let that worry you too much. Don't show what you don't want to show. Just show bits. And the second thing, I been training for the last 3 days with Mark Harris, who you probably know, Lauren. He's a male midwife, yes. And he is so unashamed, because of the word, unashamedly, can't say it, himself, like swears all the time.
Unapologetically you.
Yeah, and honestly, like, he is not like a slick brand. He's a bit overweight, he's a bit sweaty. He told me all these like random, it was just me and him. It was like awesome. But like, he was just himself. So his training was kind of rough around the edges, but awesome, totally authentic. And that just kind of made me think of you, Lauren, then, when not that you're sweaty.
Oh, I'm a bit warm, babes. I did used to have a bit of crush on Mark Harris, and you're right, he's not someone you would crush on, but when he starts talking about that dance, the dance of making babies, I was a bit like, I did get a little bit sweaty then, and he's certainly not somebody I would be interested in. But yeah, because it's that vulnerability and that real, you know, you could even go onto Instagram and go, I'm absolutely bricking it. People will love that. People will connect to the fact that you've got no confidence, because neither have they. So there's a common interest straight away. Like, oh my God, I hate doing these stories. I feel like crap today. I quite often go on my stories saying I feel like crap today. My energies, Victoria will know, because she'll say in my DMs, you're all right, babes, won't you? But I will often go on there and say I'm having a terrible day. Everything's crap, blah, blah, blah. And the amount of people that are there, because they see them, they relate, and they're like, oh my God, she's one of us. And what do they do then? I trust her. I'll buy from her because I trust her. So it cannot be underestimated, the power of that, looking directly into your camera and talking to someone on a level that they will understand and connect with. Because if you go on there all really formatted and really businesslike, people see through it and they'll get bored. You just, because you are the only person that's you on Instagram, which means there is no comparison ever with the millions of users, none.
Jen's written in the chat, is it all right to have one more question? I don't know if you're in a rush, Lauren.
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, what time is it? No, I don't mind. Go, Jen.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to run away to my screaming child a minute ago, so I missed a bit of it. But I've loved hearing everyone's questions, and obviously I'm very grateful for you talking about business coaching in such a great light. It's lovely to hear. You might have already been asked this or answered it because I missed a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, at the start you said about like some days you're just not feeling it, you've had a few weeks of just not feeling it. And when I speak to people, quite often that's something that comes up with respect to social media. So do you have anything that you do like to just go on, or do you just go on and be honest and say, I'm just not feeling it? How do you deal with it if it's a daily feeling that's coming up?
Sometimes I will withdraw from it. I'm at a point now where I've got a social media manager who does all the grid posts. She does a story every day, and she dips in and out of the DMs, but not very much. So I can withdraw if I want to, and I have done a few times, because also we don't want to break ourselves. You know, I've got a business to run. I need to be here. I need to be heading it up. But yeah, I will totally go on there and say, Jesus, I feel really shit today. I've been talking a lot about my confidence recently, and about how I'm having a bit of real confidence dip at the moment, and how I think it's the aging thing. And yeah, I think from my previous platform, which was called This Girl Is Enough, and I was very controversial on there. I was very sweary, as Becky picked up on. I was very warts and all. I've muted it quite a bit because I want to start pulling back. And like Linda said with Holly, it's not necessary for me to show everything. So I don't really talk about my older children much. They're never seen on them, and they're grown adults now, so they don't want to be on there, and that's fine. Ace is getting lesser on there now, my 9-year-old. And yeah, I don't show parts of the house that I might not want people to see. Some days I'll go and go, look at the state of this kitchen. But some days I might just be sitting in my garden hiding from it all, you know. But I believe in honesty, and I believe, especially over the last, since I was doing the blogging, and you know, I touched on some really tough topics in the blogging. I was on Huffington Post talking about my domestic abuse in my second marriage, because I think as humans, it's our job to do that to a degree, to be able to share these stories, to be able to lighten the load of someone else who's holding on to them. But it has to be in the way that you're comfortable to do it. So it depends what mood I'm in, whether I'll be sharing or not stuff. But it's a lot more muted now because I've got more of a focus on the business now, I think. What would you say, Jen? Are you active on the socials? Do you have days where you...
Good question. I mean, I'm very similar to what Linda said, what Holly said. I see it for me as work, but equally I try and be very authentic. Like my other half watched one I posted the other day, and he was like, God, you babbled loads at the end. And I was like, yeah, but that's just me. Like, I'm honest, and I just trying to be myself. And even though he thought it was funny and cute and like silly, I just want to, yeah, I think being yourself. But I see it as like work time. I'm on Instagram. I have a personal account, but it's very limited use now. And I put some stuff up about my family, but it's limited again. Like, it's sort of when I feel like what I want them to see. So I think that's a really good mantra. I see it as you're in your office when you're on your socials.
Yeah, I do kind of go into work mode. My work mode quite loose.
And I might not be at my desk, but I might be like sat somewhere where I'm a bit more creative. But I like to keep my work in a certain environment as well. So I'm not like doing it when I'm in family kind of environments, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's
even though that's hard.
Not your brand though, is it? I'm imagining if you're a coach, you know, you're not like in a brand where that would, like the mumsy mum, you know, her brand is built around her children. So
yeah,
that's what her Instagram looks like.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, branding is very important, definitely, as well.
Yeah, well, it's your shop front, isn't it? It's got to look, it's got to talk to that customer. Needs to look.
Yeah, and I think naming your customer is amazing.
Oh, your ideal customer all day long. Yeah, she's got a name, Emma. She's been with me from the start. She's a good girl. She commutes down to London, 25. You know, play with it.
I'm a bit old then, but we can still buy your stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah, actually, do you know what? Poor old Emma. She's a bit young for me. I feel a bit intimidated thinking that I'm talking to a 25-year-old because I'm like, what? I don't know what they want me to talk about. My son's 25. He don't even want to talk to me. So I don't think that's my audience. No.
Does your husband ever show up on the social? You said you're in business with your husband. What does he do?
He does, well, he does pretty much everything. I just twat about on Instagram. He does like he takes care of the website. He deals with all the suppliers. He deals with the factories. He deals with all the logistics of the physical stuff and does the accounts. So, you know, I am blessed in that really I'm sales marketing. That's my position.
Is it good working together? Because I feel like that's a big pressure on your relationship, but maybe it's amazing.
I think we've found our way now. We've found our way. He's been running his own business for about 12 years, which is still going, but he does more on mine now. So we work together at home. We've got separate offices. I'm in the spare room, clearly, and he's downstairs. We couldn't be in the same room. We're finding our feet. It's been a year now, so we're finding our feet. He's got his job roles and I've got my job roles, and it's kind of like don't cross over. You do.
That's good. I think that's good, having boundaries like that.
Oh yeah, boundaries are essential for life, really, aren't they? Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Sorry to take up a bit more time, but it's lovely to hear.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Laura. Does anyone have anything burning to say? I don't want to cut anyone off because I'd feel really bad.
No, they've all had enough. They're all like to explode. I've got too much information now.
Oh, honestly, it was absolutely wonderful, and it's just so nice to hear, you know, from someone who's living this. So yeah, and picking your brains is such a privilege. So thank you so much, Lauren.
Very welcome. I see now I've got a little bit of imposter syndrome knowing that Holiday Cruise was on a few weeks. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
The only reason I managed to get Holly is because we've been friends forever.
Yeah, you've known her for a long time, haven't you? You've known her for a long time.
Yeah, she got me into hypnobirthing. We've known each other since we were in our early 20s in a whole other capacity, like a whole old life. So yeah, that you are as much up there as she is, for sure.
She's one of the cool kids on Instagram though, isn't she? See, she's someone who I think is one of the cool ones.
She's very authentic, which is really refreshing, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. I'll let you go. It's been absolutely wonderful, and yeah, really, really grateful. It's all recorded, so you can watch everything back, and obviously all the recommendations and stuff are in the chat and stuff. And I've written a lot of notes. So if anyone needs anything like read back, just give me a text.
I might come back for some of that when I need some coaching. I'll be like, oh God, actually.
Oh no, it's been great. Thank you.